Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, Pakistan. This is Heather Mehdi, and this is the voice of Free Pakistan, the voice of Free Pakistan for listeners inside and outside Pakistan. This is our weekly roundup of the news and events in Pakistan, and what a week in Pakistan in English. And to discuss that is my wonderful mentor and dear brother and guest, Dr. Zafar Bangash. Dr. Zafar Bangash, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the program, sir.
Walaikum salam, Heather, and my salams to your viewers and listeners as well.
Thank you very much, sir. And just to advise and inform people that we do this in English once a week so that we are able to address the people, the English-speaking peoples of the world, whoever wants to listen, and to those people, second generation, third generation Pakistanis who are outside, who are more comfortable in understanding English than Urdu. So that's why we do it. We do it every week. It's you will find, we do it every week on a Sunday. Dr. Buggies, what an eventful week in Pakistan. The elections have taken place, a massive turnout, huge win and endorsement for former Prime Minister Imran Khan. A complete, handed the country has handed Imran Khan and his party a mandate, but, and this is a very big but, many a slip between the cup and the lip. What has happened? Why? What's going on? Just help people understand the context leading up to the elections and what is happening now. Dr. Bagish.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As everybody is aware, in fact, Pakistan's elections have become an international phenomenon. For the first time, I must say, February 8th were really, really something very big. And leading to the February 8th elections, the Pakistani military and the corrupt politicians, the judiciary, the police, they did everything in their power to try to subvert the electoral campaign of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who's languishing in jail on ridiculous charges. They put all kinds of hurdles in his way. And yet, when the elections were held on February the 8th, for the first time in Pakistan's history, the turnout was phenomenal. The young people, women, the elderly, retired military officers, ordinary people, they came out in droves this was actually not an election, it was actually a referendum. It was a referendum basically on whether the people of Pakistan support Imran Khan or they support the interference of the military in political affairs. And the results were so overwhelming that the people completely rejected military's interference in political affairs. They opted for Imran Khan. They rejected all the corrupt politicians. And the initial results that started to come in after, of course, the polls ended at 5 p.m., there were still hundreds of thousands of people lining up outside, and they wouldn't allow those people to continue to cast their ballot, which is normally done in most countries. If there are such huge lineups outside, then they will extend the deadline from 5 to perhaps 6, 7 p.m., whatever, to facilitate the people. But the military wanted to restrict people's participation. They wanted to suppress the people's vote. And yet, even with that voter suppression, the confusion that they created by taking away the bat symbol from Imran Khan's party and his supported candidates running as independents. But my hat's off to his, internet warriors. They really did a tremendous job in communicating the message to the people. And when the first results started to come in, within the first few hours, it was absolutely clear that Imran Khan's party or his backed candidates had actually swept the polls. That is when the panic started. And that is when the delaying tactics and subversion of the people's mandate started. And so the election commission stopped relaying results. The returning officers are, in fact, in the polling stations where each candidate's representative is there to monitor the vote counting, etc. They were thrown out, some were beaten up. All kinds of horrible things took place in order to subvert the people's mandate.
Thank you.
Now, as we speak, even though Imran Khan's party had won officially based on, and we'll talk about this, based on what is called Form 45.
Can I just quickly intervene, Dr. Baggage, if you don't mind?
Sure,
I,
sure,
I
please.
I just wanted to give a build up to the election, and it's really important because what you've said is extremely insightful. So the elections, as you know, Dr. Bangash, and I'm saying that for the viewers who are probably not as familiar with the Pakistani election system. The Pakistan election system happens once in 4 years. Uh, it it
It's
it
every 5 years, actually.
Sorry, every 5 years. That's correct. And every 5 years, yes, 2008, every 5 years. And it takes place to the National Assembly, which is like the parliament, and the four provincial assemblies of the four provinces, and the Federal Capital Territory of Islamabad, which has three seats. That's what happens. They elect members of parliament to the provincial and national assemblies, and these are then subsequently elect the provincial chief ministers and the prime minister of Pakistan. The key thing in this is that political parties participate and give their constituent and their candidates the symbol of which is allotted to the party, which gives people the ability to recognize that this candidate belongs to party A and party B. Imran Khan's symbol, the cricket bat, was one of the most visible symbols of his party. Just a couple of weeks before the election, the Supreme Court, under a petition filed by the Election Commission, which had earlier taken away the bat under a trumped up charge that they have not done the internal election properly, took away that symbol, hoping that the people, because of a very large segment of people in Pakistan, do not read and write, and so symbols become very important in understanding that this candidate belongs to Imran Khan's party. Was taken away legally, so the ballot papers did not have the bat as the symbol associated with Imran. What then happened was that the entire candidate team, the entire slot of candidates from the PTI, had to then stand as independents. Independents means they don't belong to any political party, but everyone knew that they belong to People's PTI because their banners and their promotional material and election material had Imran's picture on it and the party flag on it. The reason it's very important, and Dr. Bankish will explain that, is that when the election happened, people massively voted for these independent candidates, and the social media team and the election team of Pakistan Tehreek Insaf did a wonderful job in propagating that in this particular constituency your candidate has the symbol of a pen, and in this other constituency your candidate has the symbol of a phone, etc., etc. The symbols were so. These independent candidates, legally under the terms of the Pakistan election law, do not belong to any party, but de facto, they actually, all of them are members of the PTI. So, what is now happening is that when you vote, and when people voted on February the 8th, they voted and their results were counted. So I'm not going to go into the detail of ballot stuffing and all. We'll forget that for the time being. When their votes are counted, the presiding officer of that polling station puts that result of all the candidates who are contesting that constituency and puts it on a form called this famous Form 45. For the National Assembly, it's green in color. For the Provincial Assembly, it's white. The famous Form 45 is signed by the presiding officer and it tallies all the votes received by each candidate in that particular polling station. An average constituency of the National Assembly, which is the federal parliament equivalent, is between 250 to 350 polling stations. So 350 Form 45s, a big stack, basically is the result of that constituency. These are then aggregated, compiled by somebody called the returning officer who looks after the overall result of that constituency and says this candidate has won, he or she has received X vote and that. What is now happening, Dr. Bankesh, is what you're going to explain is what happened once these Form 45s, by the way, these Form 45s are individually given to all the representatives of the candidates. So they know that, yes, this is our result. We saw that. We were sitting there. We tallied. We counted. Yes, I got 5,000. Dr. Bankesh got 10,000, for example, right? And every your candidate, your rep signs on it. My rep signs on it. The presiding officer of the polling station. So that's the most verified validated result of that polling station, and its aggregation results in the announcement of the winning candidate. Dr. Bangash, sorry for this long-winded context.
No, it was extremely important because it is important for people to understand how the process takes place. So, as you said, these Form 45s that are handed over to each candidate from each particular polling station, and then the 250 or 350, whatever polling stations there are, these are then aggregated into what is called Form 47, which the returning officer officially declares which particular candidate is the winner of that constituency. Now, if we step back a little bit, on the night of February the 8th and into the early morning of February the 9th, until perhaps midnight or so, the results that were coming in, even on the government controlled media, on the electronic media, these television stations, etc., they were all reporting that Imran Khan's candidates or PTI were actually way ahead of all of the other political parties. In fact, by that time, Imran Khan's party was ahead and leading in about 150 constituencies. You need to keep in mind that in the National Assembly, there are a total of 266 seats. So a winning party needs about 169 seats to be able to form a simple majority. So by midnight, Imran Khan's candidates had already garnered about 150 to 151 seats. They were way ahead. And then the election commission all of a sudden stopped everything. They said, well, our system has gone down, etc., and they refused to give the thing. According to election law, the election commission is required to announce the election results by 2 a.m. the following day. So February 8th was the election day. February 9th, latest 2 a.m., they must give the result. If they are unable to do so, then the next morning.
Sorry, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m.?
No, 2 a.m. at night. That means just 2 hours after midnight. If they can't do it, then they must do it by 10 a.m. the following morning. So by 10 a.m. legally, by 10 a.m. of February the 9th, the election commission should have given the complete result. We know that they didn't. Today is the 11th of February, and we still do not have the full election result. The reason is that absolute panic set in because the military had thought that they are going to manipulate the election with all these dirty tricks that they were playing. That the most that the Imran Khan's party candidates would garner is about 40 to 50 seats in the National Assembly. When they realized that they're going to take an absolute majority, in fact, two-thirds majority, right now, the official tally based on Form 45s is that PTI has got about 180 to 181 seats in the National Assembly. That's an overwhelming majority, absolute majority. And now they are sort of trying to overturn. I'll give you an example. For instance, in National Assembly seat 131 from Lahore, where Nawaz Sharif was contesting against Dr. Yasmin Rashid. Dr. Yasmin Rashid, even being in prison, was far ahead of Nawaz Sharif. And yet, the election results were stopped. And then the next morning, they announced that Dr. Yasmin Rashid has lost and Nawaz Sharif has won. The same situation occurred in Mansehra, which is National Assembly seat number 15. There, Nawaz Sharif was being challenged by Shahzada Gustasif Khan, whom you and I both know. He's a political family, he's an old student from Lawrence College. He secured more than 105,000, almost 106,000 votes. Nawaz Sharif had only 85,000 votes. And yet, this result was overturned the next day, and Shahzada Gustasif was given 87,000 votes, and Nawaz Sharif was given 105,000 votes. They performed these shenanigans and miracles. In fact, it's interesting that in the same constituency, the Jamiat Ulama Islam candidate Mufti Kifayatullah, at least he had some decency and integrity. He came on television and he said, I had got about 29 to 30,000 votes. Nawaz Sharif had only 85,000. He said, we were all there. We can certify that Shahzada Gustasif had won hands down, and yet they overturned this result. He said, if Nawaz Sharif has any decency and integrity, he would recognize that he has lost, just as I'm admitting that I didn't win this seat. And so this particular candidate has won. The same
So
thing that
yeah.
occurred in Sialkot, where this elderly grandmother, Rehana Dar, beat Khwaja Asif by 50,000 votes. And you go on and on and on, and you find that there
So,
are.
so you're right, sir. And so I think the important thing for all those who are listening, and especially I urge people who are listening from the Western media, independent observers, alternate media, to please get in touch with Dr. Zafar Bangash and myself, and we will explain to you and how this happened. So, in a quick summary, what has happened is because the Form 45s are already with the candidates, so they cannot change those Form 45s. So here's what's happening. The first thing that they're doing is they're simply literally taking a Form 47, and when they get this aggregated result of a constituency which says Dr. Zafar Bangesh, or in this case Nawaz Sharif, got 85,000 and Shahzada Gustazif got 140,000, they simply write down or type on Form 47 Nawaz Sharif 145,000, Shahzada Gustafzev 60,000. It is as blatant and as brazen. It has no roots, it has no legs, it has nothing to back up that data. So that's one. And that Form 47 is then announced. The second thing that they're doing is because they know it's going to go to courts and they know recounting has to start. So they've now started picking up the original votes in the voting bags, in the ballot papers, and they are taking them, they are destroying them, burning them, or replacing them with different voting bag, with different ballot papers, so that when the recounting takes place, it tallies with the results that they've already announced. It is as brazen and as I mean, it's hideous. It's just not even, it has lost every semblance of respectability, every semblance of due process, everything. So tomorrow, even now officially Imran Khan has 101 seats, right? These are 180. They're actually, there's a team who's working. They said we are close to 211. We believe the final tally is going to be 220 seats that Imran Khan's party has won, based on the Form 45, which is the only authentic source. So now they're destroying evidence. They're destroying the ballot paper. They're burning the ballot paper. So that's what's happening in Pakistan. But we have to round this up, Dr. Bangish. We've got a couple of minutes left.
It,
Where will this take Pakistan?
yeah, exactly. As you said, that they are destroying the evidence now. They are even actually, the votes that are cast for Imran Khan, they are tampering with those and therefore making them invalid, etc. But I think there are a couple of things we need to keep in mind. The first is that when we scan the international media, whether it's in the US, Britain, Germany, a number of other places, Al Jazeera, etc., their reporting is they have all cast doubts upon the manner in which this election has been rigged.
It's
And what
legitimacy, basically.
exactly that they're saying that they are basically violating the rights of the people of Pakistan. In fact, I'm very happy that the U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar, she has actually in her tweet she has urged the State Department not to recognize the government in Pakistan that comes through a fraudulent election. I think it's a
Mhm,
very good statement. There are about 23 or 25
mhm,
members of Congress that have issued similar statements. It's a hopeful sign. The question that you raised was, where does it lead Pakistan? It's very simple. If the mandate of the people is stolen, Pakistan is heading for a total disaster. What they are trying to do is to cobble together PDM2. We had that ridiculous government put together in April of 2022 and until August of 2023. The mess that they made in Pakistan, the economic mess, the political mess, the social mess, if they want to repeat the same thing, then the question is, why on earth did you go through this exercise of elections if you want to repeat the same nonsense again? Because that's not going to solve your problems.
mhm,
Pakistan is in deep financial crisis. It
mhm.
needs money from abroad, and it's not going to get a penny if this is the kind of games that they're going to play. The International Monetary Fund is not going to give them any money if these are.
Dr. Bagish, the reality on the wall is the army is not going to is doubling down. They're not going to budge. They're going to cover up PDM too. My question to you is, what happens?
Okay, I think it's now up to the people of Pakistan. If they come out in large numbers, they have to now challenge the authority of the army.
Mhm.
Because I know that if there is a large number of people who come out and who resist this blatant theft of their mandate, then I think the army will back down, because I don't think that the army can take on the people. So now it's up to the people of Pakistan. And I don't think that people taking it lying down or going home and say, well, we cast our vote and so there's nothing we can do. I don't think that that's the attitude that the people should take. Now is the time, because
And do you
PTI,
think they will? And my question is,
I
do you
think they
think they
will.
will?
I think they
They
will.
will.
PTI now has a very strong hand. They have the mandate of the people in their hands, and the international opinion is also with them. So now is the time for the people of Pakistan to come out. We have seen it in KP province, in a number of places people have come out. They have actually challenged the writ of the army. They have confronted the police. I think this needs to now begin to take place in the rest of the country, particularly in Punjab. It's happened in
So
Karachi.
we do hope, Dr. Bangash, and I close with these prayer and this hope that it does not turn into anarchy, civil war, or violence and descend into chaos. We are a nuclear armed state. The world cannot afford a complete, chaotic, uncontrollable Pakistan. We hope that this will of the people, by the force of the people on the streets of Pakistan, will temper the ambitions of the military elite and the political elite in Pakistan, the corrupt military and political elite, and the true mandate of the people is recognized and handed over to them. So they come into government and do what they want to do, bring about any reform that they do. Dr. Bangish, thank you very much for your most insightful and very clear explanation of what's happening in Pakistan today. We will meet next week again in English, but we will meet shortly for our normal programming in Urdu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and all your loved ones. May He bless Pakistan. May He bless all those people who are fighting for a free democratic Pakistan, for rule of law. May He bless all those people who are under tremendous hardship, who are in jail, including Imran, his wife, and the women and who have been in jail for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. And we bless the souls of all those martyrs who are fighting for Pakistan and laid down their lives. And may God grant them esteemed place in Jannah, and may He ease the pain of all those who have suffered because of this. Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan Painabad. Long live Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum. Khuda Hafiz.